Hello guys, welcome back. First things first, grab a pen and paper. Don't trust your brain, it will ghost you the moment the video ends. I'm serious. Go get it, I'll wait. Okay, not really, this is a video, but pause and come back please. Now listen, I know you have probably watched 100 videos already and still feel like, why am I not confident? Why do I blank out when the actual interview starts? Simple answer, because you're consuming, not practicing. But today we change that. No gyan, no course plugs, just pure practice like a pure component. Here's the deal. Part 1, I'll throw questions at you, no answers yet. You write down the keywords that instantly come to your mind. No overthinking, no googling, just honest reflection. In part 2, I'll give you a proper senior level answer. Interview approved, no nonsense. You'll compare, see what you missed, and rate yourself if you like. This is your little self check station. No shame, no pressure, but no skipping either. I will know. Okay, I won't, but pretend I will. And hey, don't leave early, please. I've got a mini story for you at the end called Memoized Love. Romantic, kind of. Educational, absolutely. Are you ready? Great, let's react. Okay, let's start with question number one, which is how does React rendering actually work? Explain the virtual DOM reconciliation and commit phases in your own words, no textbook definitions. Also, tell me how does React avoid unnecessary renders? Please, guys, don't go for the answers yet. Pause this video, write down the keywords that come to your mind. And keywords like while going through this question, your mind can come up to the keyword of real DOM, a diffing algorithm, and tree-like structure, UI, these type of things. Whatever that comes to your mind after reading this question, just write it down, and then you compare it with the actual answer that you should give. That is the way how you can add more keywords into your vocabulary, and this will definitely help you in the interviews because then you don't need the words, you just need how to frame them. Next question is, what is the difference between React.memo and useMemo? When would you use one over the other? Next question. This is a kind of easy question, but I will still ask. You have a parent and child component. The parent re-renders, but you want to stop the child from re-rendering unnecessarily. Even if the parent updates, how would you handle this? Show code and explain why it works. Yeah, sorry, the code part must be complicated. Okay, next question. Mm, It is also similar to what I asked earlier. You have a parent component that re-renders frequently, example due to state updates, and it passes props to a child component. The child component receives the same props on every render but still re-renders unnecessarily. How can you prevent the child from re-rendering? So you can explain it conceptually, show the code, and explain why it works. But even if you don't know, just write down the keywords that come to your mind. And then they might ask you one counter question on this, that what if the prop is an object or array? Will React memo still work? Next question, how do you force a child to re-render even if props don't change? That's it. I hope you have your keywords with you in that paper or in your phone. Now let's move to the second part of the video. Now, before giving you the answer of first question, let me tell you one thing that we believe and is wrong, which is, see, we all know that DOM is a tree-like structure and have nodes. But what we actually think is that these nodes are execution statements, which is wrong. Basically, the DOM is a tree-like structure of nodes representing UI. This is the correct statement that you can say in interviews. And second thing is, whenever you are explaining the idea of reconciliation and diffing, you can also mention keywords like fiber architecture or why reconciliation is optimized. And then you can bring up the concept of keys, which is very, very important in React. Okay, so a strong answer should be, first of all, we will tell what React rendering is. So React rendering is a process where UI updates based on state or props change. Instead of directly touching the browser's slow real DOM, React uses a virtual DOM, which is an in-memory lightweight copy of the real DOM. Then in the second paragraph, or maybe after a slight pause, we can tell about what reconciliation is. So when a component's state or props change, React doesn't immediately update the real DOM. It goes through a process called reconciliation, where it compares the new virtual DOM with the previous one using an optimized diffing algorithm. It then calculates the minimum number of DOM operations required. After this, you can also tell them about the commit phase that comes after this, when the changes identified during the reconciliation are actually applied to the real DOM. This two-phase approach, like the render phase where we calculate the changes and the commit phase where we apply those changes, makes React performant. So if we want to avoid unnecessary re-renders, React can use tools like React.memo, which is used for functional component, useMemo and use callback, pure component or should component update in class components, stable use of keys during list rendering. Okay, now we have another question which was related to the difference of React.memo and useMemo. So in this question, what you can say is React.memo is component level memoization. It's a higher order component, HOC, that wraps a functional component and prevents it from re-rendering unless its props change. Use cases are use it when you want to skip re-rendering of an entire component if its props haven't changed. And second, works like pure component for functional components. So you can give a tiny code snippet and then you can explain about use memo, which is value level memoization, and it's a hook that memoizes the result of a function computation. So it's only recalculated when dependencies change. Use cases, we can use it when you have an expensive calculation inside a component that shouldn't rerun on every render. Again, one single line as a code snippet will impress the interviewer. Okay, so next question is where we have to handle the situation where the parent re-renders often, but passing the same props to child and child does not need to render again and again. So this is very similar to what we have understood just now, especially if you know about React memo and use memo hooks. So what you can say in the interview is like, to prevent unnecessary re-renders of a child component when the parent updates but the child receives unchanged props, I wrap the child in React.memo, which is a higher order component. React.memo shallow compares the incoming props. If the props haven't changed between re-renders, it skips the render entirely. This is especially useful in performance critical apps where the parent re-renders often but child UI doesn't need to update. And you can explain your concept with a tiny code snippet. Okay, then there is one important thing that can come to you, which is a counter question. And the interviewer can ask you, okay, what if the prop is an object or array? Will React Memo still work? I hope you tried answering this question. And it's okay if you don't know, because the answer is no, it won't, because React Memo uses shallow comparison. So this is child and this is our info. We pass this object name as key, and even if the object info has the same content every time, it's a new object reference. So React.memo will not skip the render. And what is fixed for that? We can use useMemo in the parent itself. Like this. Now the reference is stable. Paired with React.memo, the child won't re-render unnecessarily. So what you can say in the interview for this question is, to stop a child from re-rendering unnecessarily, I wrap it in React.memo. If the props are primitive and don't change, this works perfectly. For objects or arrays, I stabilize the reference using useMemo in the parent before passing them down. This combo prevents wasted renders and keep performance high. Okay, so we are done with the questions and the answers part. And now it's time to tell you the story. And the story goes like this. पहले सब सही चल रहा था, काम कंपोज्ड बिल्कुल यूज मेमो जैसा, हर चीज़ ऑप्टिमाइज। पर फिर उसने हर छोटी बात पे रिएक्ट करना शुरू कर दिया, नेल कलर बदला तो पूरा री रेंडर हो गया, डिपेंडेंसी एरे लंबी होती गई और पेशेंस शॉर्ट। तब मैंने डिसाइड किया अपनी फीलिंग्स को मेमोइज कर लेती हूँ, हर बार रिकैलकुलेट नहीं करना मुझे। एंड आई मूव्ड ऑन, क्योंकि हर अपडेट इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं होता, कुछ अपडेट सिर्फ कॉस्ट बढ़ाते हैं। This is the end of the video, and I want to ask you one simple question before you leave, which is, do you guys want to learn about AI?